Thank you. So I'm Elisabeth from Norway. I thank you for a very interesting presentation, and it's very similar. And you have all worked with Oslo also. So, but one of the things that I would just comment on is that we have some research about the numbers that are high with the young people from 13 to 17. And one explanation that the researchers have come with is the close collaboration between the local police and the schools that may explain some of the numbers that have not declined, but opposite, because of course then the police are at the schools and they will get to the knowledge about much lower crime. So maybe that was some of the research that we have made and commented on. Thank you.
May I ask something? Is that research out somewhere? Is it published already? Because it's highly interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
I will ask for the details
Yes.
later, because this is something we have been contemplating in Finland quite much during the past years. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. My name is Katrine. I'm from the National Commission of the Icelandic Police, and I think your study on the comparison between the Nordic countries is very relevant. I think it's very interesting to see the crime drop that is happening around the Nordic countries, which is we call the peaceful time, which is from the up until 2015-16. And we have currently been trying to analyze what is it in the Icelandic context that made this crime drop for us. So we're still trying to find an academic explanation on it. I also want to highlight what you said about the definitions between street crime groups and gangs and then the organized crime groups. I think it's a very good framework to go further into the media, because there's also this common misunderstanding in the media around what includes being a member of a gang or then organized crime gang. So thank you for the definition on that.
My name is Mads. I'm from the SSP Council in Denmark, which is an association between all municipalities in Denmark. I recognize most of the thing, but I think the thing I'm happiest about your saying is that we need comparable data. I think when I'm sitting hearing you talking, I'm thinking, whoa, could we compare those things and do the response from the young one? Do you know what they are answering, and are they answering the same things around the Nordic countries? So I think that's quite important. That said, I also think it's important that we go deeper to what is it in the Nordic countries that make those young kids race in registration, because I think it as you also said, it doesn't have to be the same thing. Something could be that we start registering them for something, as you said, violence in school. Should we have been handling those things by methods that are more restorative or something like that? And in Denmark, we see some municipalities where the level raises for the young kid, and some where it doesn't. And that's interesting. It's not a Danish phenomenon. It's different from municipality to municipality. Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. My name is Sigrid Nicka, and I'm a PhD student in criminal law from Lund University. And I think this was kind of an excellent overview, and I think kind of as you were on, this kind of highlights the importance of relating different kind of statistical data, that we use the kind of the recorded crime, that we use self-report surveys, that we use school surveys and victimization studies to kind of get a better overview, and that we need to maybe be better at relating them to each other in communication, and also how they relate to legal reform. And then I think that goes along with kind of one other one of your key points, which is how we frame the issue, how we delimit or define the issue, changes our possibility to interact with it quite drastically. And I think it's very important, this kind of how we understand street gangs or youth crime and youth violent crime, and instead of having it be kind of swallowed into an amorphous kind of blob.
Thank you so much. Yes, Markus, please go ahead. A final comment, and then we'll let Sigrid up to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments, and there were some very interesting observations, and I was actually thinking that also legislation changes would be really important to study. We could have comparative data and study the moments of legislation changes. I'm not aware if some relating to reporting obligations, for example, took place in other Nordic countries. These quite often do happen quite closely in time. But anyway, another thing is control, obviously. So some groups of young people are more likely, obviously, to be exposed to control than others, some areas as well. In me and my colleague Emma Wilman, we found when we were going through some Nordic evaluation studies that, for example, the concentrated police operations that concentrate on Udsätta-områden, and they during these operations they are more likely to find weapons and drugs, for example. So these crimes increase during these the interventions, while some crimes may or may not decrease at the same time. So also, when we have in some countries, when we have more targeted control operations, we should see increase in some types of crime, even though there's no rational reasons to think that the crime itself had increased at that time. So if we had the comparative Nordic data, we could also do this kind of elaborations and maybe have some answers for the key questions. For example, how much of the increase is explained by the increased likelihood of the violence being reported, like in the Norwegian study, which is highly interesting, but also changing control.